So I want to talk to you about something that is important for all of us to keep in mind. We have to focus on living our own lives, regardless of what other people do with their lives. So there was a time, and this comes from a devotional that I wrote a long, long time ago, many, many years ago. And during the time is I was taking a few yoga classes and we would do balancing poses. And in the balancing pose, the instructor would tell us to keep our focus on a focal point. And I noticed in that class that when kept my gaze on a focal point and didn't get off of that, the balance was a lot easier. But the minute that the focal point would shift onto something else, then you would lose your balance. And that wasn't just unique to me, that was her instruction to the entire class is keep your mind fixed on a focal point and your balance will be easier. And I thought about that, like that's the same in our lives. When we focus on living our life, your life, my life alone, not looking at anyone else, not focusing on what someone else is doing or not doing, it is easier to keep a steady focus. It's easier to control our emotions. It's easier to choose what is right. It's easier to not get deterred onto a different like strain of thought or be building up resentments, building up comparisons, starting to feel like maybe losing your desire or your motivation or whatever it is. When you keep your focus on pleasing God and doing what is right for you and not comparing yourself to other people, life is much better and it's easier. And you keep your mind and your thoughts and your choices on the things that matter and are right for you and good for you and that please God. So I'll give you some real life examples, and this is a common one. If you have elderly parents or a parent and you are the one sibling that is taking most or you're taking care of your parents most of the time, maybe doing most of the legwork, most of the hard work, most of taking to doctor's appointments, helping them. Maybe it's because you live closer to them. Maybe it's because you are the oldest child and you always have done the most. Maybe it's because you're the one that feels the most convicted that that's something that you need to do, of course, with balance. But let's say you get your thoughts not on feeling good about what you're choosing to do for your parents. And this doesn't mean that there can't be questions and boundaries and like, okay, I can't do everything. I'm going to do the best I can. And I can't go over there every time they call me. But you're taking the whole situation into consideration, and you're doing what you believe is right. If you start getting focused instead on your siblings and what your siblings are not doing, you are going to start getting resentful and angry, and you're going to lose your desire to help your parents. You're going to take the joy out of it. Instead of feeling good about what you're doing, you're going to feel bad about what other people are not doing. Same thing with your spouse. If you are constantly looking at what your spouse isn't doing in their relationship. Now, this again does not mean that you can't take look at what the reality is and recognize, hey, my spouse is not taking care of their responsibilities. And the previous example doesn't mean you can't ask your siblings to help, but you can't keep your focus totally on what they're not doing. And if they refuse to help, and you've done everything you can to present them with opportunities and ask for their help, and they still don't, you staying bitter towards them is not going to make your situation any easier. So if your spouse is not carrying out their responsibilities and you start to focus on what your spouse is not doing and start getting resentful about what you're doing, the same thing's going to happen. You're going to stir up all the resentment and the anger, and you're going to lose your joy in what you're doing. You're going to end up not wanting to do the things that you're doing. And again, this is nothing to do with not taking a healthy assessment of the situation or letting somebody know that, hey, I need more help, or I'm not happy with the fact that you wouldn't do it. This has to do with focus. Where is your main focus? Is your main focus on what you're doing to live your life, or is your main focus on what somebody else is not doing? Same thing with your child. If your adult child is not treating you with respect and you make your whole focus on what that child is not doing rather than on, I'm going to keep up my part of the relationship and be respectful, not meaning you can't have boundaries. You can and should, but I'm going to keep my focus on doing what is right for me and what I know is my part of this healthy relationship, then that will end up meaning that you are doing the right thing. And again, not getting your focus off to where you're getting more bitter and more angry. This is talking about focus. This is not talking about not being honest with yourself about the relationship. I just did a double negative there. It's okay to be honest with yourself about the truth about a relationship and look at what's going on and to look at what the other person is doing and if they are doing your part, but you can't let your focus be on that. Once you do that and you see it, you got to get your focus back on what you're doing right so that you can keep yourself on a steady path. So Psalm 73, David was in the same situation. And it's long, but I'm going to read it just because it could be that at this moment, this will really help you. I love this psalm. It wasn't, it's a psalm of Asaph, not David. So apologize for that. It says, surely God is good to Israel, to those who are pure in heart. But as for me, my feet had almost slipped. I had almost lost my foothold, for I envied the arrogant when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. That's kind of what we do. It's like, it's not fair. They're over there having fun, they're living their life, and I'm over here caring for mom and dad, and I'm working really hard, and I'm the only one that's doing what's right in the marriage and what's right, taking care of the kids in the house, and start looking at that other person. It says, my feet almost slipped. I nearly lost my foothold when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, looking like they have no struggles. Their bodies are healthy and strong. They are free from the burdens common to man. They are not plagued by human ills. It looks like that often, doesn't it? Therefore, pride is their necklace. They clothe themselves with violence. From their callous hearts comes iniquity. The evil conceits of their minds know no limits. They scoff and speak with malice. In their arrogance, they threaten oppression. Their mouths lay claim to heaven, and their tongues take possession of the earth. Therefore, then people turn to them and drink up waters in abundance. They say, how can God know? Does the Most High have knowledge? This is what the wicked are like, always carefree. They increase in wealth. Surely in vain have I kept my heart pure. In vain have I washed my hands in innocence. All day long I have been plagued and been punished every morning. So you're saying, okay, I worked really hard. I've done what's right, and it is not helping. I am not prospering as much as somebody who does nothing. That's what we do. We start making a pity party and feeling bad for ourselves. If I had said, I will speak thus, I would have betrayed your children. When I tried to understand all this, it was oppressive to me. So you're feeling really like pressured and down and like stressed and strained until I entered the sanctuary of God. Then I understood their final destiny. Surely you placed them on slippery grounds. You cast them down to ruin. How suddenly are they destroyed, completely swept away by terrors. As a dream when one awakes, so when you arise, O Lord, you will despise them as fantasies. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone that you know is going to have massive judgment or go to hell. It just means that there's consequences that God sees, and there is an accounting. There is a judgment after life on this earth ends, and there is an accounting of everything that we've done. It says, when my heart was grieved and my spirit embittered because I was angry and I was comparing and I was upset. I was senseless and ignorant. I was a brute beast before you. Yet I am always with you. You hold me by my right hand. You guide me with your counsel, and afterward you will take me into glory. Whom have I in heaven but you? And earth has nothing I desire beside you. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. That's a big deal. Those who are far from you will perish. You destroy all who are unfaithful to you. But as for me, here's his final conclusion. As for me, not the other person, for me, it is good to be near God. I have made the sovereign Lord my refuge. I will tell of all your deeds. So when you start to put your focus, that was the New International Version. When you start to put your focus on what somebody else is doing, instead of keeping your focus on what you are doing, your feet can slip and you can lose your balance. So keep that in mind. Again, does not mean you can't take an assessment of what's going on with someone else. You can't watch for patterns and you can't set boundaries. This is talking about where your focus is on what you're doing or what somebody else is doing. Okay, God bless you, and thank you for watching or listening. I hope you'll check out my videos for my channel for more videos. Check out my website for classes and other resources, books, and things that I have. And I'd love to have you as one of my subscribers. And don't forget to like this video. The more that you like videos, the more that the YouTube algorithm will show them to other people to watch them. I think they have to get at least 10% likes of all the views that they have in order for YouTube to consider that to be something that they should show to other people. So God bless you. Thank you.